On the malicious chessboard, the king chess spirit manifested as he chased Lin Feng. Lin Feng glanced behind him to find the king right on his tail. And as the king tried to suppress Lin Feng with an overwhelming pressure, reaching for him, Lin Feng took a stance and unsheathed his sword, and as he slashed the king's surging hand, deflecting it, the hand smashed the ground, releasing a massive shockwave. Lin Feng gritted his teeth in frustration, annoyed about how strong the king was. But unbeknownst to him, a pawn chess piece creeps closer. It smashed Lin Feng's back, and while in the air, its chess spirit tried to pierce him with a spear. Lin Feng saw this and evades the attack, and as he lands, he turns to the pawn, intending to smash it into pieces. At that moment, a knight chess spirit appeared beside him, causing Lin Feng to unsheath his S-class weapon, horse slashing sword. He swung the sword with his full might, but unfortunately for Lin Feng, the knight broke his precious sword with its mouth. Seeing his broken sword in the knight's mouth, Lin Feng was shocked and started bitching about it. The malicious chessboard had countless vengeful spirits who had died on this very chessboard and got their souls devoured by the chess pieces. They are forever confined in this place. The cycle keeps repeating and the battle continues endlessly until the chessboard is defeated. These chess pieces have devoured countless hunters' vengeful souls after their tragic deaths. They are far stronger than an S-class. Being clearly outnumbered and outmatched prompted Lin Feng to find a way to escape immediately. So with this thought on his mind, Lin Feng activated his flight skill, and immediately, bright wings appeared on his back as he lifts off in the air, intending to fly away as fast as he could. But when Lin Feng had a brief moment of respite, he changed his mind and decided to observe the board from above. Suddenly, a bright violent glow prompted him to look up. And as he did with a cold sweat visibly highlighting how fucked he was, Lin Feng flinched, shocked to see the queen chess spirit, huge and with her hand in the air. The queen didn't wait for any invitation to bitch slap the living daylight out of him. Hard. Lin Feng made a crush landing, dusting the entire area of the chessboard he fell on. And as the dust settles, Lin Feng lay there, unable to move as he coughs repeatedly. Opening his eyes, Lin Feng was staring at the king's huge spirit head staring back at him. Moments later, the queen joined in, and as both chess spirits towered him with their suppressive aura, Lin Feng knew in that moment, he fucked up. Again, the king reached for Lin Feng, and as he did, a hand also reached for his head as well. This hand, with its long nails, covered his entire head, and with a light squeeze, the king's entire chest body crumbles onto the ground, like a house of cards. Lin Feng covered his head with his hands as pieces of the crumbling body fell around him. He peeked in between his hands and saw what was going on. Like all chessboards, the defeat of the king placed the game in a checkmate, and this rendered all the pieces left sitting duck as Bai Chi Feng, with his fast movements, destroyed all of them within a few seconds. Wondering who it was, Gao Hu and Lu Xiaoke rushed towards Lin Feng, asking if he was alright. And as they helped him on his feet, Lin Feng asked what they were doing here. Gao Hu replied that they were worried about him, so Bai Chi Feng suggested that they follow him, and in case he encountered any danger, they will be there to help. Curious, Lu Xiaoke questioned Lin Feng why he suddenly tried to challenge this dungeon by himself, when he told everybody that he was going to just scout ahead. Lu Xiaoke was thankful that Bai Chi Feng suggested they tail their young master. Hearing Bai Qingfeng's name, Lin Feng freaked out, knowing that he was the one who saved his ass. Then, with an ungrateful demeanor, Lin Feng turned to Bai Chi Feng, realizing that by defeating the dungeon alone granted Bai Chi Feng the purification crystal. Meanwhile, Bai Chi Feng, with a nonchalant expression, noticed that the souls trapped in the chess pieces he destroyed began to gather around him. And as they did, they present him the purification crystal as a form of their gratitude for freeing them. Bai Chi Feng took the purification crystal, and as he stared at it, he wondered why these souls decided to give him this rare material knowing full well he was the Demon King. Lin Feng watched the entire scene, cursing loudly in his thoughts about this particular turn of events being the worst-case scenario. Why in the devil's name did the purification crystal fall into Bai Qingfeng's hands? It's like this novel was going out of its way to teach me a lesson, Lin Feng thought. Bai Chi Feng turned to face Lin Feng, and for a few seconds, he said nothing. He just watched Lin Feng's facial expression as he stared at the purification crystal with envy. Bai Qingfeng's expression suddenly turned sinister, and as he asked Lin Feng if he wanted the purification crystal, he laughed inwardly at how Lin Feng was incapable of hiding his thoughts and desires at the current situation. Bai Chi Feng gave Lin Feng no chance to answer, and said that regardless of his answer, the purification crystal was his, and he had no intention of giving it to him. Although Bai Qifeng had no idea what Lin Feng's goal was, but risking his life for this rare material meant that whatever it was, it must be good, so no dice in handing it over to him. Gao Hu, oblivious and clueless about reading the room, praised Bai Qifeng of being here with them and suggested they should work as a team as they proceed forward. Lin Feng, on the other hand, was fuming, thinking that he couldn't lower himself to fight with Bai Qifeng for the fragment with Gao Hu and Lu Xiaoke here. And since they witnessed Bai Qifeng being the one who obtained it, he had no way of manipulating the situation to get it. Then, his main character syndrome kicked in, thinking that he didn't need Bai Qifeng's help in the first place. If he had a little more time before Bai Qifeng showed up, he was 100% positive that he could defeat the Demon King alone. So with that thought, Lin Feng shouts loudly like a banshee in labor, saying that he didn't need anybody worrying about him. They better go back quickly while he continues to scout ahead by himself. So with that, Lin Feng began to flee the area as his two followers shouts and worry. Lin Feng thought that even though he couldn't get the purification crystal, he can still gather the remaining materials, and with that, he could make a semi-finished purification potion. The effect wouldn't be good as the complete version, but it was enough to get the job done. Bai Qifeng remained silent and observed the entire scene that just unfolded. Then, as a smile crept on his lips, he thought that the more Lin Feng tried to hide whatever he wants to do, the more he intend to get to every facet of what he's hiding and expose him of having ulterior motives. Knowing this, Bai Qifeng intend on seeing what exactly the lousy wanker plan on doing. So by extension, he plans on doing whatever Lin Feng is doing. A while later, at another S-Class dungeon, the Deadbones Lake, Lin Feng entered this dungeon to find it already raided with Bai Qifeng holding the reward, another rare material called the Three Flames Pill. He teased Lin Feng for arriving late to the party. Hearing this, Lin Feng got angry, but reined in his anger and decided to leave immediately for the other materials left. But like an unwanted shadow, Lin Feng encountered Bai Qifeng again in the next dungeon, an A-Class dungeon, Bone Cliff with the reward of a rare material, Bone Dragon Scale. Then the last one also, an S-Class dungeon, Wind Whistle Abyss with a rare material, the Peerless Water. At that point, Lin Feng lost it, fuming like a demon. He couldn't obtain a single rare material because Bai Qifeng took them all. On the other hand, Gao Hu just watched Lin Feng and was at a complete loss of words as to why his young master is so adamant on Bai Qifeng's concern for him. From his perspective, Bai Qifeng is just worried and looking out for him. Holding the rare materials in his hands, Bai Qifeng found it weird that Lin Feng was trying to get rid of them just to obtain these materials. Although, these materials might be rare and valuable, but he knows Lin Feng didn't look like someone who wasn't short on money. What does he really need this for? As Bai Qifeng pondered on this issue, Lu Xiaoke approached him, requesting that Bai Qifeng help them persuade Lin Feng that they are just worried about him. But upon seeing all the materials together, Lu Xiaoke's eyes shot up as he immediately knew what they were. They were the materials he had desperately been looking for all these years. So like a child excited about opening his Christmas presents, he asked Bai Qifeng if he could have a look.